Both ginger and garlic are used in culinary, medicinal, as I said. They both used in powder form and in dry form. And the fun bit is you can eat the rhizome and you can eat the greens also. They all have different flavor notes. Hello there. Today we'll discuss about two herbs that are called superfoods. What is a superfood? Let's answer that question first. Over here, around channel, my friend Bob, we do not try to give you anything medicinal, but I'll just touch upon it and you can go and do your own research to figure it out. A superfood, typically like berries, broccoli, and some others, uh, why they call superfood? They have antioxidants, fiber, and fatty acids. A few things which are mentioned around the world to be good for your health, being gut or some other. Without going too much in details, what are we discussing today? Ginger and turmeric. The funny thing is, they are both from the same family. And the other two you might know, glangal is another one that you might have heard of it, and cardamom. They are also from the same family. Both have rhizomes. What is that? You ever heard me, because we have made videos about potatoes, we always talk about tubers. You have grown other things in your life where you know something has roots. So what's the difference between roots, rhizome, and tuber? So I'll give you an example. Roots are roots. I don't think I need to explain. With tubers, that's something, it's a sack where all the food sits underneath in the ground. That's what a potato is. That's where all the food is. And that's what we eat. A rhizome is a bit different. It's almost like, if you look at these leaves, it's the same thing up and below the surface. It's really rolled up stem. The one which forms on the surface is what we call a rhizome that we eat. And on top are the greens, which again is a stem. So a rhizome typically has green on top and roots on bottom. Again, coming to the differences between the two, a rhizome is different, even though the word which we tend to use wrong, for potato we call it a potato root. It's not. Ginger root, it's not. So you have to understand a bit of a difference. So it's really the green part growing on the surface. It does not grow underneath, like really below the surface. And that's what a rhizome is. So let's start with ginger. Before I explain anything about ginger, we're about to do an experiment. And this is something we want to learn ourselves. What I have over here, this was store-bought organic ginger that we started in February, so it has been going on for a few months. This was something Jan had in his house. It started sprouting. We put it in soil, and this also has been going for like 3 or 4 months. Then this is how ginger, what you start with. If you see over here, you see the rhizome starting already. It's an experiment. Now, to be part of this experiment, ginger typically takes almost 10 months to grow. I do think with these two examples, even though they're two different kinds, we do have enough time for them to grow. And we would be able to harvest something out of it. This will be something new. Now, with ginger, there are many varieties. Many people think glangal as ginger. It's very close, so that's the reason. Ginger typically grows in Southeast Asia, a lot in India, around 35 to 40, I think, different varieties. Also, a lot of varieties in Thailand, I think around 30 to 35 varieties. And that's what we find in our stores in North America. How do you grow them? Ginger originated from what today's region would be, what's Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore, that overall region. It started there. It is a domesticated plant. It does not grow in wild in nature. Humans domesticated it. Once it was domesticated, it moved to South Asia, eventually to Europe also. And when I say to Europe, we're talking about the time of Romans and old Europe. With ginger, anytime you say ginger, most people, at least in my case, I'll think of a curry. I'll think of how it's used in Asian cuisines. In Asian cuisines, it's typically used more in savory dishes, be curries, be pickling, or multiple other ways. When you go to the European style, it's mostly used in sweets. You would know it is candy. You will know it is ginger ale. You will know like many things which has ginger, but it's on the sweet note. Uh, Ginger is so versatile that in other regions in the world, you make wine out of it, ginger ale, and even beer out of it. So, ginger is one of those herbs that across the world it's used almost everywhere, and sometimes we tend to forget. Now, let's go to the growing part. We are about to start it today. As I mentioned already, these started almost 3 months ago just to get a head start. We live in Northeast United States. We do not get that much of heat. Uh, it is a plant which loves humidity. It grows in areas, especially in Southeast Asia, where it's humid. So trying to create those environments. The way we did it, we started that, as I said, 3 months ago. We'll plant them. And in this example, all three will be planted not in direct sun. This is the experiment we're trying to do, because the area where I'll plant it, you'll see it. I don't get an 8-hour sun over there. I get sunlight all day, but not direct sun. I do think that area will give it the humidity that it typically likes. What else? Oh, how far apart? Ginger, it almost looks like a tropical plant. It's beautiful. When the flowers happen, they start white. Eventually, they get to the purple color. They look beautiful. Ginger typically gets a height of 3 to 4 feet, so over a meter. It will look like, once it's growing, almost like bamboo growing, but it's not really bamboo, but it does give a beautiful tropical look in your garden. So you put it like 2 inches in the ground, because it's a surface plant, and keeping in mind it will grow almost a meter tall. You keep 6 to 8 inches of space between them, and that's how it grows. It does not like cold. We have to, before our frost happens, we have to pull it out. Let's see, do we have enough time? I think from start to end, we have like 9 months on this particular plant you're looking at. My understanding is it likes more like 10 to 11 months. It is perennial, but the way we're growing it as an annual. By the time we're done, and we'll see when fall happens, and our frost line is 15th of November, so almost going into November. It's end of May right now. I do think we'll be able to harvest something. So turmeric. Again, as I said, it's from the same family as ginger. So this is a ginger plant. I just wanted to show you the leaves, the difference between the two. Turmeric has a bit wider leaf. That's how you can differentiate. Same logic as a ginger, and the ginger plant is over here just to show you an example, the difference between the leaves of two. In both cases, you can eat the leaves, and surely you eat the rhizome. One thing which is very common between the two is how you plant them. It's the same logic planting ginger as turmeric. Both, even turmeric gets like a foot tall, a meter tall. The flowers on this are a bit different in color. But again, with the wider leaf, it spreads differently. That said, they both do not like soggy soil. They both like well-drained soil, and it should be moist. Keep in mind, where did turmeric come from? Southeast Asia. It came from a region which were the natural rainforests. That's where it started. So you're trying to imitate that kind of a condition. As I'm doing with my ginger, I'm doing experiment with 3 different types: an organic, another one which was not, and then starting rhizomes outside right now. With my turmeric, I'm doing a different kind of a experimentation. I only was able to grow 3 plants. I'll use 1 or 2 today, and I'll keep one for later. And the experiment I'm about to do is I'll put one in an area where you get light all day, but not direct sunlight. And I'll put 1 or 2, depending how I figure it out, in a region where I got 8 to 10 hours of light and see the difference, what I get. For that matter, I have enough ginger also that I can experiment in extra light or extra sun or not direct sun. So that's where we're starting. We start in one of our raised gardens, which Jan built last year. We planted some things. We were not too successful last year because by the time it was built, it was late in summer, and whatever we planted, it did not work out. But this year, my thought is to plant things like every year you learn from mistakes from last year. So mistake which was learned was starting too late. This is right now, end of May. We're starting these gingers and turmeric over there, and let's see. So this is our raised garden that we're about to put both of them. Like always, since it's Hugo culture, it settles down a bit. We will add some soil. You'll see some holes happening, so those will be filled. Jan is already filling a wheelbarrow of the black gold. As we wrap everything up, last bit you always know is watering. So give it a decent soak. There's a bit of shock which would have gone, even like moving them with their root bulb and everything intact. Still, it settles everything down. As I do this, I'll remind you to subscribe to our channel, like this video. And what we will try doing this year is, in my videos as we do it, we will keep on showing you the progress of this, because it's still good 6 or 8 months away before we can harvest it. So in our coming videos, we will hopefully be able to show you where the plants are, what's going on. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching.